Okay folks, this will be an interesting one. It's a bit boring, but it might turn up a treat like a lot of boring things often end up. This will be a tricky one. Okay, let's see what we have here. We have here a Rexona. I think it's Rexona. Rexona Sexy Bouquet. Why do they have to use the word sexy? It's like, really, it's just deodorant. It's not your fucking body. It's not your fucking, you're not sexy because you wear this. Silly. I found it. It was a found object, so I didn't actually buy it. I found it. And they call it Sexy Bouquet. They try to sell all sorts of shit these days, folks. And they use all sorts of gimmicky... Sexy is indeed a common buzzword to use to market products. And that's come up looking quite interesting. Not quite what I'm after. I've got a bit of darkness there. But Sexy Bouquet, I mean, seriously, I mean... Sexy. What the fuck? It's really dumb. Sexy Bouquet. Trying again, another version of this. It's tricky, these roly-polies. Movement is indeed difficult to control. Yeah, that's a lot nicer now. So we got this nicely showing. Sexy Bouquet. What the fuck is that? So dumb. But people fall for that sort of marketing shit. They do, folks. They actually do. Don't know what to do with it. I found it. Still got product in there. I might find a use for it. But I don't normally wear this kind of shit. I think 200's a bit big. Sexy Bouquet. It's not too big, actually. Sexy Bouquet. Makes me think of a product when I was young, when I used to, well, it was back in the days when photocopier companies were a lot nicer to people like myself who are toner heads. And there was a machine I liked called the 6650, and I used to call it the Sexy. I call it Sexy 650. For some reason, that's the product. But that was back then. That was back in 1990, I think it was. Back in the days when people like myself, toner heads, were being respected more than what they are now. The photocopier industry doesn't care about people like myself who want to make a difference, who want to make the products better. I'm going to move it across and up. But yeah, photocopiers were a lot more robust back then. Whereas now they're mostly plasticky and flimsy and fragile. You just can't win. Now that looks really quite interesting. I think we're going to move it down and move it a bit more back across. I think we've made it too, yeah, moved it too close to there. It's really tricky trying to get this just right, folks. Yeah, that's starting to look better now. I think we got it pretty well close enough to where we want it. I just noticed we've still got that, well, which we don't really want, but you know, you can't avoid it. Yeah, sexy bouquet. What a gimmicky way of selling a product. Yeah, that's looking a bit better. Still needs a bit more on the vertical. Maybe a little less on the more on the horizontal and less on the vertical. Yeah, that's a lot better now for this thing called Sexy Bouquet Rexona. Trying to decide whether to maybe make it a negative image. Yeah, that looks really quite interesting actually, colour in that. I wish it didn't have to show this there, and this toner is bubbling as well in the solid areas of black. I don't know why it has to do that. I don't know why it does that. yeah, that looks nice colour wise. Again, toner looks like it's not bubbling as much on this piece as that piece. I'm not sure what causes that. I think it might be damp paper, but I'm not a diagnostic wizard when it comes to photocopiers, because when I was young I wanted to be a photocopier technician, and even before I learned, long before I learned that my disabilities were a problem, or that I even had disability, undiagnosed folks. But basically I didn't, I had one disability I was diagnosed with, but I didn't think it was affecting me as my work, and now I know that it's a problem, that the disabilities I have meant that I just can't work in open employment. I really wish I could be a photocopier technician if I better than what I'm doing in disability disability enterprise, Australian Disability Enterprise. I work for one of those at ADE, because I can't work in a normal job and I get Centrelink. I collect disability support pension, so yeah. So let's see how we go. But back then I wasn't, and I was trying to become a technician, and it was really hard. And yeah, and that's come up looking quite interesting. I think we can now call this sexy demo. Yeah, right. Quits.